Hey, welcome back to the Cybersecurity Whisper for the week of February 23rd. We're excited to be with you today and dive into this week's top cybersecurity stories. I'm your host, Elliot Franklin, and today's episode is packed with revelations from a notorious scammer who raked in $600,000 a month extorting Instagram users, all the way to critical vulnerabilities affecting millions of servers. So let's get right into it. Our top story today centers on Idris Kiaba. Probably not saying that correctly. Better known as his alias Unlocked for Life. In what can only be described as an audacious exploitation of social media's vulnerabilities, Kiba allegedly built a multi-million-dollar empire by manipulating Instagram's moderation tools. So for years, Kiba reportedly ran an elaborate extortion scheme. So imagine this. Celebrities, influencers, and small business owners whose livelihood depends on their online presence found themselves at a mercy of a man who could disable their accounts in a matter of hours. During a January 2024 interview, Kiba boasted that he manipulated Instagram's reporting system to get accounts banned, then charged his victims thousands just to get them back online. He claimed that over 200 people were paying him monthly to keep their accounts safe. But it wasn't just digital manipulation at play. Court documents paint a darker picture. Kiba allegedly sent hundreds of intimidating messages, some even including images and violent threats, to force compliance. One chilling message reportedly warned, "Here's the last guy who came to take photos near my home." And in another case, a victim was told her social security number would be blasted out unless she paid a hefty ransom. Now, Meta, which is Instagram's parent company, they filed a lawsuit on February 18th. Just last week, accusing Kiba of orchestrating this extensive racket that involved not only Instagram, but also other major platforms like YouTube, X, TikTok, Snapchat, and even Telegram. And after months of warnings and a cease and desist letter, it was in early 2024, Kiba simply pivoted, creating new accounts and keeping his scheme alive. This saga exposes not just one scammer's greed, but the broader vulnerabilities that are inherent in digital ecosystems. Shifting gears now, let's talk about a threat that could impact millions of servers worldwide. Security researchers have uncovered two new vulnerabilities in OpenSSH, which is a critical tool for remote server management and file transfers. Versions from 6.8p1 through 9.9p1 are in the crosshairs. And one vulnerability, which has the CVE label of 26465, it allows an attacker via a man-in-the-middle technique to impersonate any server with the vulnerable client connecting. Although the risk is mitigated by default settings in many cases, one exception stands out. FreeBSD had the Verify Host Key DNS option enabled by default up until March of 23. The second vulnerability, which is a CVE-26466, that could enable attackers to launch a pre-authentication denial of service attack by sending specially crafted SSH2 MSG ping packets. The OpenSSH team quickly patched both flaws again in version 9.9p2. If you manage servers or rely on remote access, this is critical. Check your versions and upgrade as soon as possible, really to avoid this exploit. In our next story, leaked internal chat logs from the Black Basta Ransomware group have provided a rare glimpse into just the brutality of cybercrime operations. You know, we always say there's no honor among thieves. These logs reveal heated internal debates about strategy, pricing, and even personal slights among the group's members. One part of the dump detailed their negotiation tactics, including a case where a victim was pressed for $28.7 million with a steep discount if the payment was made within 48 hours. But behind these numbers lies a much more human story, a group in disarray with operators bickering over failed exploits and the mismanagement of ransomware operations. Even as key members defected to rival groups, the logs underscore a critical truth. Cybercrime isn't always sophisticated. Sometimes it's messy, bureaucratic, and just disturbingly. It's just very disturbing. While criminals refine their tactics, another challenge looms over institutions trying to combat fraud. There was a senior VP at M&T Bank that pointed out that technology to detect and prevent scams isn't the issue. It's the privacy regulations. Banks often find themselves hamstrung by data sharing constraints that limit their ability to work effectively with telecom providers and internet companies. You know, if you look in contrast, Australia's shared responsibility model holds multiple industries accountable. providing a more robust framework to tackle the issue. So the message is clear. Really, without better cross-industry cooperation, financial institutions, they're going to continue to fight cybercrime with one hand tied behind their backs. Next up, we delve into the emerging risks in the AI landscape. We've talked about DeepSeek, and we continue to do investigations of the security behind it. The DeepSeek AI app, which was developed in China, it's come under fire after security researchers exposed multiple vulnerabilities, from weak encryption and potential SQL injection flaws to undisclosed data transmissions to Chinese state-linked domains. DeepSeek is raising serious alarms, again, about user privacy and national security. Further complicating matters, its AI model, DeepSeek R1, it failed over half of its jailbreak test. This means attackers might soon be able to manipulate its built-in safeguards to generate unintended and potentially harmful outputs. And so the takeaway is, whether you're an enterprise or an individual user, always scrutinize the security behind the apps you trust, especially in this rapidly evolving AI space. Now, in a different corner of the digital world, we talked about this a few weeks ago. Public library ebook services are grappling with the surge of low-quality AI-generated books. Hoopla, which is a major player that provides ebooks to libraries nationwide, they recently announced a renewed crackdown following an investigation by security researchers. The service is now revising its collection development policies, removing questionable titles and publishers, and offering librarians better control over their digital catalog. So, library professionals are arguing that while innovation is certainly welcome, it should never come at the expense of quality and trust. And Hoopla's new measures are a step toward preserving the integrity of the materials that communities depend on. But many feel that more transparency and accountability are still needed. So more to watch in that space. As if the digital threat landscape wasn't already crowded, security experts have now uncovered a new family of data-stealing malware that uses Microsoft Outlook as a communications channel. And this malware abuses the Graph API that I'm sure many of you are familiar with inside M365 to bypass hashed password protections, ultimately targeting vulnerable data on compromised systems. And the attackers, believed to be part of an espionage campaign initially aimed at a South American foreign ministry, they employ living off the land techniques, and they exploited Windows built-in tools like CertUtil and remote management. And as a result, a highly engineered campaign with the potential to intercept sensitive credentials and move laterally across networks. And so for security teams, this is a stark reminder to monitor for anomalous behavior and to enforce strict credential management practices. Finally, in a twist that highlights the human element of cyber risk, Insight Partners, which is an influential venture capital firm, they've got investments in over 70 cybersecurity companies. They recently confirmed a data breach that resulted from a sophisticated social engineering attack. Although the breach was contained quickly and operations remain largely unaffected, the incident serves as a warning even for the most cybersecurity savvy organizations. Even if you manage hundreds of investments and handle thousands of sensitive communications, the potential for attackers to slip in under the guise of a trusted contract or contact, that increases exponentially. It's a call for enhanced secure communications, robust verification processes, and again, an ongoing vigilance against one of the oldest tactics in the book of social engineering. So again, the stories we talked about today, it's just another vivid picture of the evolving security landscape. From the scammer who exploited the vulnerabilities of social media for profit, to systemic issues in remote access protocols, the inner workings of ransomware groups, and challenges, of course, in AI and secure communication. All of these stories remind us of one thing in cybersecurity: the threat is never static. So as we navigate these digital battlegrounds, remember that security isn't just about technology. We talk about that often. It's about the people, processes, and the policies that really shape our digital interactions. So, use podcasts like this to stay informed, stay vigilant, and always, of course, stay secure. So again, thanks for joining us. Be sure and like, subscribe, send us your questions, and we hope to see you soon. Thanks.